Hey there, I'm Keith Barry, and this is the Lexus NX 450h Plus plug-in hybrid. Now that name is an absolute mouthful, but it does say a lot about the car, so we're going to break it down a little bit. It's a Lexus, which means it's made by Toyota's luxury division. Lexus vehicles are known for being not quite sporty, but very comfortable and plush. Also, very reliable. The NX means that it's the compact SUV from Lexus. So it's bigger than the small UX, and it's smaller than the RX, and it's a lot smaller than the TX, the GX, and the LX, which are huge. Now that 450h Plus plug-in hybrid part, that's what's important about this car. So Lexus makes 3 flavors of NX. There's the regular gas-only version, which gets between 24 and 28 miles a gallon overall, depending upon how it's equipped. Then there's a regular hybrid version, which the EPA rates at 39 miles a gallon, which is great. And finally, there's the plug-in hybrid, which is this car right here. That means that it has a slightly bigger battery than the regular hybrid. It also has a plug. You can plug it in and get a 37-mile all-electric range. When that range is done, it basically turns back into a regular hybrid vehicle. So think of it this way. If you're the sort of person who has a regular commute, maybe it's 25 or 30 miles round trip, you can plug in this vehicle overnight, every night, and on your commute, it's basically an electric car. But if you want to take the family on a really long road trip, you can drive it just like a hybrid, fill it up at gas stations, and you don't have to worry about where to charge like you would with an electric vehicle. For a lot of people, it's the best of both worlds. The main difference is the cost. So this Lexus is only available in the top 2 trims, which are the luxury and the F Sport. There's no base model of this car. That means you get extras like real leather, real wood, a bigger screen, more accent lighting. So for our test program, we bought a 2024 Lexus NX 450h Plus luxury trim, and we bought it anonymously at a local dealership, and that's what we do with every car. So we make sure we get the same type of car that you would buy if you bought it from a dealership. This one here, it includes about $5,000 worth of extra options, and those include wireless phone charging, a surround view monitor, automated lane changing assistance, a front cross traffic alert, and also a slightly faster internal charging system. There's also a $1,150 destination fee. The total purchase price for this NX, for the NX that we bought, it came to $64,930. Its final assembly point was at Toyota Motor Kyushu in Fukuoka, Japan. So all in all, the plug-in hybrid version of this vehicle costs about $10,000 more than a comparable regular hybrid version. Some of that currently, as of the time that I'm taping this, it can be made up for with tax credits which apply to this vehicle, but only if you lease it because of where it was manufactured. And those tax credits could go away. There's one other wrinkle to whether or not this vehicle is going to be right for you financially speaking, and that's fuel economy. Once that 37 miles of all-electric range is done, this only gets 36 miles per gallon. That's great, but it's less than the 39 miles a gallon that the regular hybrid, which remember is cheaper to begin with, costs. So if you're not plugging it in every day, if you live somewhere that has really high energy costs, the plug-in hybrid might not be for you. But if you have decided that this works for your lifestyle and your budget, well, it's a pretty good choice. Keep watching. So when you buy a Lexus, you know you're getting just a little bit more, style, a little more comfort, a little more luxury than you would from a non-luxury car brand. If you look at the exterior, it's not tremendously redesigned. It has a presence, but there's not much here to complain about. The only thing which personally I find a little annoying is right here. They call it piano black because it looks like a grand piano. This exterior, a lot of cars have this shiny plastic trim here. It's very easy to scratch. One other thing, the door handles, we're gonna talk a lot more about that when we're inside the car, but on the outside, this is a fixed door handle, and you put your hand here and there's a little pad behind it and you squeeze it, and that's how the door opens. It's pretty easy to figure out from the outside, but it does present some issues on the inside of the vehicle. Every plug-in hybrid NX has the same engine and transmission. It's a 2.5 liter 4-cylinder with an eCVT, an electronic continuously variable transmission. Together with the electric motor and the gas engine, it's good for 304 horsepower. That's only when they're working together, and we're gonna get to that later too. But also everyone comes with all-wheel drive, so that's your only option. On the outside, there's only one way to tell the difference between this and the other NXs, and that's this door right here. It's on the other side of the vehicle from the fuel filler, and this is where the charge port is. If you plug it into a level 2 240 volt charger, sort of a traditional EV charger, you can get the full 37 miles of range, fully charge the battery in about 3 hours. But if you don't have a charger at home, this Lexus comes with a cord that you can plug into just any old outlet. And if you plug it into a regular outlet that you'd find in any garage, it'll take about 12 hours to charge. So yeah, it takes a lot longer, but you don't have to invest in getting a charger installed at your house. And one of the best things about the NX is its interior. It's really easy to get in and out of the front seats. That ride height of an SUV means you basically just sit down in the car and it's easy to swing your legs in. The seat itself is the front seats are very, very comfortable. Very well positioned. They hold you in place without squeezing you too much. On this edition here, the luxury edition, there's a lot of real leather trim in places. It's very attractive, very comfortable, very plush. Now, it is a bit snug, and partially that's because of some optical illusions. So you have this 14-inch touchscreen, which is kind of canted over towards the driver. So it's this real cockpit feel. The center console is pretty wide too, so it does feel kind of like you're in this cockpit of a vehicle. And also there's not a panoramic sunroof, there's just a small sunroof up here. So that takes away from some of the brightness or airiness of the interior. It's cozy. The passenger doesn't really have much to look at, just this kind of nice soft touch surface there, but because of the way that this is tilted, it's really designed for the driver. The controls themselves are a real improvement over the last generation of Lexus NX. This is kind of the new type of control that's in almost every new Lexus that's been redesigned recently. In this case, it's a 14-inch touchscreen. It's a full touchscreen. There's no weird mouse or touchpad like Lexus used to do, which kind of drove us nuts because everything else about the car was great, and then they had this horrible control setup. This is much better. You know, our only complaint is that the climate controls, you know, you do at least have these buttons for temperature selection, but the other climate controls are hidden inside of a touchscreen, so you can't operate those just by feel. There's a volume button, you know, there are buttons for a lot of the everyday tasks, but you know, climate is one thing that just makes it a little more difficult. At least they're pretty large icons for things like the seat heater, the seat cooler, the heated steering wheel, so you don't have to look away too long, and it's not too hard to find it while you're driving. It's a big enough screen with big enough icons. One small complaint about the controls are the steering wheel controls. They're these multi-function controls, and as with many Lexuses, they're not labeled. There's this sort of like a D-pad kind of up, down, left, right controller on either side, and when you hover your finger over it, it will tell you what it does on the screen. So you have to be looking at the road, figuring out where your finger is or your thumb is on the control, and then kind of glancing down at the instrument cluster to see exactly what you're doing. So you kind of have to do 3 things at once, and that is a little bit distracting. We don't love that. Otherwise, fairly well set up. Another complaint about the design itself is this piano black on the interior. So if you are someone who wears rings that have prongs on them and you're shifting, it's very easy to scratch it. As you see here, there is wireless charging for a phone. There's a nice storage cubby underneath to put things, away from prying eyes. There's a storage area above it as well. Overall, it's a fairly well thought out interior. However, and this is an issue with many new Lexuses, the door. Remember we talked about the getting into the car, the electronic door handle? Well, there's an electronic door handle to get out. Lexus calls it Safe Exit Assist. And they say that it's a good thing because it is built into a system that can prevent you from opening the door into oncoming traffic. That is a good thing. The problem is that the door handle is not something that works the way that it looks like it's supposed to. And this isn't just Lexus. We're seeing this in a lot of new cars, especially luxury cars. If you look at the silver button right here, it looks like a door handle like you're supposed to pull. And indeed, you can pull it. But the way to open the door is to push it and then see, I'm having trouble. Sometimes it sticks on there, you push it again and then open the vehicle. The other issue is if the battery dies, you need to have a different way of opening the door. If the electronic door lock doesn't work, you actually stick your finger kind of around behind it and then pull it, and that's the emergency latch. And you pull it twice and it opens the door. Don't do that every time because it'll wear out the latches. That's what we're told. And this is the back seat. It's comfortable, but there's not a ton of leg room back here. It's a little snug. Same with the cargo area. If you want more room for legs, people, stuff, that's what the RX is for. As you'd expect from a Lexus, it's a bit relaxed to drive, and we actually think that the plug-in hybrid version, because of the extra weight of the battery, does a better job absorbing bumps. It's not sporty, but it certainly communicates enough to the driver behind the wheel. Our one big complaint about it has to do with the way the plug-in hybrid system activates. If you have a full battery and you turn the car on, it defaults to EV only mode. Now remember back when I said it has 304 combined horsepower? Well, without the gas engine, it doesn't nearly have as many. So when you're driving just on electric power, yes, around town, it feels kind of really nice when you pull away from a stop. It's got that torque of an electric motor that if you've ever driven an EV, you've experienced, that it's kind of instantaneous. The problem is, most PHEVs, if you really tip into the gas pedal, it will activate the gas engine. So if you're merging on the highway, if you're trying to pass someone, if you really need to get away quickly and you floor the accelerator, the gas engine will kick in and it'll bring to life the full combined power of the vehicle. Not so in EV mode. You just get that kind of puny little electric motor, and it isn't enough to accelerate the way that you would want to, merging with a tight space, like on the Merritt Parkway in New York or something when you're driving this. And it's all the more confusing because if you've driven it in automatic mode, where it automatically switches between electric and gas, you've gotten that full power, and there's a lot of power. So it can be a little surprising to hit the gas and not get gas from the vehicle itself. The way to avoid that is to switch it over into auto mode. That's just by pressing a button. The problem is that the car resets itself every time you drive it. Now, when the car is in hybrid mode, the gas engine can get a little bit raspy and loud. We think that's an acceptable trade-off for the incredible fuel economy of the plug-in hybrid and also of the hybrid version of the car. One of the things we really love about the NX is all the safety equipment that it comes with as standard. Now, safety equipment should be standard on all vehicles, but especially on ones that cost this much. The Lexus NX 450h Plus comes standard with forward collision warning, automatic emergency braking with pedestrian detection, blind spot warning, and rear cross traffic warning. You've also got those driver assistance features that take some of the stress out, like lane centering assistance, lane departure warning, lane keeping assistance, adaptive cruise control, and automatic high beams. They all come standard on every NX plug-in hybrid. All in all, the NX 450h Plus plug-in hybrid is a pretty impressive vehicle, but it isn't for everyone. I'd say it isn't for me. I would prefer the hybrid version, which actually gets better fuel economy if you don't plug it in. That's just because of the way that I drive. I tend to drive longer distances, less driving around town, and also where we are in the Northeast, energy prices are pretty high, so the savings aren't necessarily there. It's hard to justify a $10,000 price premium if you're not getting the benefit of plugging in every day. But if you do decide that this is for you, that you have the kind of commute where plugging in every day makes sense, where you want the best of both worlds, of an EV and a hybrid, and you want to be able to take road trips, but you want to be able to basically drive an EV around town, the NX 450h Plus is a great choice. If it isn't for you, luckily there's a flavor of NX for everybody. For more on plug-in hybrids and for luxury compact SUVs like this NX, head over to cr.org.